Another overview of why it failed. It was a very inappropriate audience, as it was shown in Cannes, in France. The themes were a hard critique of modern society, and they both went drinking afterwards because they thought it was awful. But Brad Pitt at the time thought it was the best movie he did in his entire life. He said, "And I think this is the best movie I ever did in my life," even though it's gonna flunk. And people didn't get it. The movie lost money initially. They went on to become a big success. You couldn't talk about the topics in the movie because they were so sensitive. They were so current in modern society at the time, and they still are. It showed men being raised without a family, on hard times. Neither of them had both parents in their home, and that showed the result of that. It left them lonely. It left them suffering, and the way that your movement tracks with people can make you become a billionaire, or it can make you become a failure. It can become the lead of an organization, or the bottom of it. It's ultimately a statistical process to a large extent. Yes, there are buffers. So in some way, if attention and time is dedicated to the right knowledge, eventually the right solution may be reached. Right, the right solution may be reached, and but it is ultimately unpredictable. There is unpredictability baked into the core of the universe. This is what quantum physics showed, of course. And I don't make reference to that lightly. I mean, the most things we cannot predict, such as the climate, or who's going to become a billionaire, who's going to fall, when is the state going to fall, how people are going to behave, how your children are going to turn out. Those are very complex problems. They're not complicated problems. And I saw a distinction about this recently. I think it was Brett Weinstein that was making this distinction. I think it was in the beginning of this year, last year, that I saw it. And he made a distinction between complicated and complex problems. That complex problems are like the climate. They're problems like a rainforest, or like raising your child. You can never know the outcome ultimately because the variables are too entangled and too unforeseeable. And a complicated problem is like a jet engine. It's much more controlled. It's got much more redundancy and buffers and more rigid behaviors and less way to deviate from them because there's buffers and there is redundancy. So if an atom fails, if a little molecule fails, there are others that will come in as buffers. And that is the truth. But I think the difference between these problems is something that we don't often highlight, but we ought to, because it completely changes how we should view them, our outlook, and the humility with which we should approach each one of these. And the expectation of control that we ought to have in each one of these cases, and the adaptability that we must have in the face of it. And so I hope that we will understand that a little better, and that can inform our lives more deeply.